Long, long ago, before cities, before books, before farms, and before people could write, the story of human beings began. This story is very long. It began millions of years ago in Africa. At that time, the world was very different from the world today. There were no cars, no schools, no houses, and no computers. There were many forests, wide grasslands, large rivers, and wild animals. Human beings did not appear all at once. They changed little by little over a very long time. This long change is called evolution. In the study of human evolution, we often learn four main stages. From the oldest stage to the newest stage, they are ape men, early humans, old humans, and modern humans. In English, these groups have special names. Ape men include early human-like beings in Africa. Early humans include Homo habilis and Homo erectus. Old humans include Neanderthals. Modern humans are Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens today. About 7 million years ago, the human line became different from the line of great apes. Great apes include gorillas and chimpanzees. Humans are not from the chimpanzees alive today. However, humans and chimpanzees had a common old family long ago. From that old family, one line became gorillas, another line became chimpanzees, and another line slowly became humans. One important point is this: humans and great apes are related, but they are not the same. Humans slowly got special ways of living. Two very important human features are walking on two legs and using tools. Walking on two legs is called upright bipedal walking. Upright means standing straight. Bipedal means using 2 feet. Many animals walk on 4 legs. Humans usually walk on 2 legs. This left the hands free. Free hands could carry food, hold babies, pick up stones, and make tools. Tools are things people make or use to do work. A sharp stone can cut meat. A hard stick can dig in the ground. A bone can be made into a point. Tools helped early people live in dangerous places. They could get food, protect themselves, and work with other people. The oldest fossil human bones now known may be from Sahelanthropus. Sahelanthropus was found in Chad in Africa. It is thought to have lived about 7 million years ago. A fossil is the hard remains of a living thing from a very old time. Fossils can be bones, teeth, or parts of plants and animals left in rock. Sahelanthropus is very important because it is one of the oldest known members of the human line. Its bones are very old, so scientists must study them carefully. Scientists look at the skull, the teeth, and other parts of the body. They try to learn how the being lived, what it ate, and how it moved. We cannot know everything about Sahelanthropus. The fossil record is not complete. Many bones are lost. Many places have not been studied yet. New fossils may be found in the future. History and science often change when new facts are found. Another old ape man is Ramidus ape man, also called Ardipithecus ramidus. It was found in Ethiopia in Africa. It is thought to have lived about 4.4 million years ago. Ethiopia is in East Africa. East Africa is very important in the study of early humans because many old fossils have been found there. Ramidus ape man had some features like apes and some features like humans. It may have been able to walk on 2 legs for some time. It may also have climbed trees. This tells us that the change from ape-like life to human-like life was slow. It did not happen in 1 day or 1 year. It took millions of years. About 4.2 million years ago, Australopithecus lived in Africa. Australopithecus is an ape man. The name is a historical and science word, so we use it as it is. Australopithecus had a small brain compared with people today. However, it could walk on 2 legs better than many other apes. Australopithecus lived in a world with trees, grassland, rivers, and many animals. It had to find food every day. It may have eaten fruit, plants, roots, nuts, and small animals. Life was not easy. There were large animals that could hurt or kill early people. Working in groups was important. Ape men are the oldest group in the story of human evolution. They appeared before early humans, old humans, and modern humans. They had small brains compared with later humans, but they had an important feature. They could use their bodies in a more human-like way, especially by walking on two legs. The oldest people may have used very simple stone tools. One kind of old stone tool is called a pebble tool. A pebble tool is made from a small hard stone. People hit the stone with another stone. Then they made a sharp edge. This kind of tool is called a chipped stone tool, because the stone was chipped or broken by hitting it. A chipped stone tool can be very useful. It can cut meat, skin animals, cut plants, or make wood tools. Early people did not have metal knives. They did not have machines. A sharp stone was very important. About 2.4 million years ago, early humans appeared in Africa. Early humans had bigger brains than ape men. They also made better tools. Over time, some early humans moved out of Africa and spread into the large land area called Eurasia. Eurasia is the great land area of Europe and Asia. Today, Europe and Asia are often called two continents, but they are joined as one very large land area. Early humans slowly moved across parts of this land. They followed animals, looked for food, and found new places to live. One early human was Homo habilis. Homo habilis appeared in East Africa about 2.4 million years ago. The name Homo habilis is a special history and science name. Homo is the group that includes humans. Homo habilis is often connected with the use of early stone tools. Homo habilis had a bigger brain than Australopithecus. It may have been better at making and using tools. It did not live in cities or towns. It did not farm. It lived by finding food in nature. It may have picked plants, found eggs, caught small animals, and eaten meat from animals that had died. Another important early human was Homo erectus. Homo erectus appeared in East Africa about 1.8 million years ago. Homo erectus had a larger body and a larger brain than Homo habilis. It could walk long distances. This helped it move to many new places. Homo erectus spread from Africa into West Asia, Europe, and Asia. This was a great change in human history. Early humans were no longer living only in Africa. They were learning to live in many kinds of places. Some places were hot, some were cold, some had forests, some had open grassland, some had mountains. To live in these places, people needed food, water, tools, and fire. They also needed to work together. Homo erectus made chipped stone tools. One famous tool is the hand axe. A hand axe is a stone tool shaped to fit in the hand. It has sharp sides. It can cut meat, break bones, cut wood, or do other work. A hand axe was not an axe like the metal axe we know today. It was made of stone, but it was a very useful tool. To make one, a person hit a stone again and again. The person had to think about the shape of the tool. This shows skill and careful work. Homo erectus also used fire. Fire was very important. Fire gave light at night. Fire gave heat in cold places. Fire could keep some dangerous animals away. Fire could also cook food. Cooked food is often easier to eat and easier to digest. Meat becomes softer when cooked. Some plants are safer after cooking. People could sit near a fire, share food, and stay warm. Fire changed human life in many ways. We do not know exactly when people first controlled fire. It may have happened slowly. At first, people may have used fire from nature, such as fire from lightning. Later, they learned how to keep fire alive. Much later, people learned how to make fire. In Asia, some fossils of Homo erectus have special names. Java man is one of them. Java man was found in Indonesia. Java is a large island in Indonesia. In the 19th century, a Dutchman named Dubois found fossil human bones at Trinil on Java. Dubois was very interested in the old story of humans. He traveled far from Europe to Indonesia. At Trinil, he found important fossils. These fossils became known as Java man. Java man is an example of Homo erectus in Asia. The discovery of Java man was important because it showed that early humans had lived in Asia long ago. It also helped people understand that human evolution was a long story with many places, many groups, and many changes. Another important example is Peking man. Peking man was found near Beijing in China. Beijing was once often called Peking in English. Peking man is also a form of Homo erectus. The fossils of Peking man were found in a cave area near Beijing. The place is called Jokodian. These fossils helped scientists learn about early humans in East Asia. They show that Homo erectus lived in Asia for a long time. Early humans had to live with nature. They could not buy food at a store. They could not go to a hospital when they were sick. They depended on their group. A group could look for food together. A group could help children. A group could watch for dangerous animals. People probably talked with sounds, faces, hands, and simple words. We do not know exactly what language they used. However, people had to share information. They needed to say where food was, where danger was, and where the group should go. About 600,000 years ago, old humans appeared in West Asia and Europe. Old humans came after early humans, and before modern humans. They used the kind of chipped stone tool called a flake tool. A flake tool is made from a thin piece of stone. When one stone is hit with another stone, a sharp thin piece can break off. This piece is called a flake. People could make sharp tools from these flakes. Flake tools were often smaller and sharper than some older stone tools. They could be used for cutting, scraping, and making other things. Tool making became more careful over time. People learned how to make tools for different jobs. The best-known old humans are Neanderthals. Neanderthals were found in Germany, and their name comes from the Neander Valley in Germany. Neanderthals appeared in Europe about 200,000 years ago. Neanderthals lived in Europe and parts of West Asia. At that time, many places were very cold. Large parts of the world were in the Ice Age. An ice age is a long time when much of the earth is colder than today, and large areas are covered with ice. Neanderthals were strong people. They had strong bodies and could live in cold places. They hunted animals and used stone tools. They made clothes from animal skin. They may have used shelters made from stone, wood, bones, and skin. Neanderthals are important because they had customs that show care for other people. One famous custom was burial. Burial means putting a dead person into the ground. In some Neanderthal places, dead people were placed carefully in the ground. Burial may show that Neanderthals had feelings about death. They may have cared for family members and friends. They may have had ideas about life and death. We cannot know all their thoughts, but burial is an important sign of human feeling and social life. Neanderthals were not simple animals. They made tools, cared for others, lived in groups, and survived in hard places. They were part of the long human story. About 200,000 years ago, modern humans appeared in Africa. Modern humans belong to Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens is the scientific name for people living today. The words are special history and science words, so we use them as they are. Modern humans had bodies like our bodies today. They had large brains and could make many kinds of tools. They could plan, teach, make art, and speak complex languages. Over time, modern humans spread from Africa to many parts of the world. By tens of thousands of years ago, modern humans had reached Europe and Eurasia. They moved slowly over many generations. A generation means parents, children, and grandchildren over time. No one person walked from Africa to every place in the world. Many groups moved a little at a time. Modern humans had to cross rivers, mountains, dry land, forests, and cold places. They followed animals and looked for good land. They learned about plants, weather, water, and the stars. This knowledge helped them live in new places. By about 10,000 years ago, modern humans had reached North America and South America. One important route was through Alaska. About 14,000 years ago, people crossed to Alaska when Eurasia and North America were joined by land. At that time, sea level was lower than it is today, because much water was in large ice areas. There was land between Asia and North America. People could move across this land little by little. Later, the sea rose, and the Bering Strait was formed. The Bering Strait is the sea between Asia and North America today. When it was formed, the Americas were more separate from Eurasia. People in North and South America began to develop their own cultures, and later their own civilizations. A civilization is a large and organized human society. It may have cities, farming, trade, rulers, religion, art, and writing. Civilizations in the Americas later became different from civilizations in Europe, Africa, and Asia. because the Americas were far away and separated by the sea. There are famous examples of modern humans in different places. Cro-Magnon people lived in France. Jokodian Upper Cave people lived in China. Grimaldi people lived in Italy. These names come from the places where their bones or remains were found. Cro-Magnon people are modern humans from the late Paleolithic age in France. They lived in Europe long ago. They made tools, hunted animals, and created art. Their lives help us understand modern humans in Europe before farming began. Jokodian Upper Cave people were found in China, near Beijing. They are also modern humans. Their remains show that Homo sapiens lived in East Asia in the Paleolithic age. Grimaldi people were found in Italy. They are another example of modern humans in Europe. These names are useful in history, but all these people belong to Homo sapiens. The time from about 2.5 million years ago to about 13,000 years ago is called the Paleolithic age. Paleo means old, and lithic means stone. So the Paleolithic age means the Old Stone Age. In the Paleolithic age, people used chipped stone tools. They hit stones to make sharp edges. They made hand axes, flake tools, stone blades, and many other tools. Stone was one of the most important materials in their lives. The Paleolithic age is almost the same as a geological time called the Pleistocene. A geological time is a very long part of Earth history. The Pleistocene was a time of many cold periods and ice ages. During the Paleolithic age, people lived by hunting, gathering, and fishing. Hunting means catching or killing animals for food. Gathering means finding plants, fruit, nuts, roots, and other food in nature. Fishing means catching fish and other water animals. This way of life is called a food-getting economy. Economy here means the way people get the things they need for life. In a food-getting economy, people take food from nature. They do not grow much food in fields. Paleolithic people had to move often. When animals moved, people moved after them. When food was gone, people looked for a new place. They may have lived in caves, near rocks, under trees, or in simple shelters. People used stone blades. A stone blade is a long, sharp piece of stone. It can be used like a knife. People also made bone and horn tools. Bone tools were made from animal bones. Horn tools were made from animal horn or antler. With bone and horn tools, people could make arrowheads and spear points. An arrowhead is the sharp point at the end of an arrow. A spear point is the sharp point at the end of a spear. These tools helped people hunt animals from a safer distance. Hunting was dangerous. Large animals could run fast, kick, bite, or use their horns. People needed skill, courage, and teamwork. One person could not always hunt a large animal alone. A group could plan together. People may have followed animal tracks. They may have watched the wind, so animals could not smell them. They may have used rocks, trees, or holes in the ground to catch animals. They used their knowledge of nature every day. Gathering was also important. In many times and places, plants gave people much of their food. Women, men, and children may all have helped find food. They could gather fruit, nuts, seeds, roots, leaves, and small animals. Fishing was important near rivers, lakes, and seas. People could catch fish with their hands, nets, hooks, or sharp tools. Water gave people food and water to drink. Many old living places were near rivers or lakes. Paleolithic people did not only think about food, they also made art. Two famous cave painting places are Lascaux in southwest France and Altamira in northern Spain. Lascaux is a cave painting site from the later Paleolithic age. Inside the cave, people painted animals such as bulls and horses. The paintings are beautiful and full of life. The artists used color and shape to show animals moving. Altamira is also a cave painting site from the later Paleolithic age. It is in northern Spain. People painted groups of animals on the cave walls and ceiling. These paintings show that people had skill, imagination, and a love of art. Why did people make cave paintings? We do not know for sure. Perhaps the paintings were part of a ceremony. Perhaps people wanted good luck in hunting. Perhaps they told stories. Perhaps they taught young people about animals. Perhaps they simply made art because art was important to them. The cave paintings tell us something very important. Paleolithic people had rich minds. They could imagine, remember, and create. They knew animals very well. They could show the shape of a horse, a bull, or other animals with great care. About 10,000 years ago, the Ice Age ended. The world became warmer. Ice melted, and sea level rose. Forests and grasslands changed. Some large animals became fewer or died out. People had to change their way of life. As the climate became warmer, some people began to grow plants and keep animals. This was a great change. People moved from a food-getting economy to a food-producing economy. In a food-producing economy, people make food by farming and animal keeping. Farming means growing plants in fields. Animal keeping means raising animals such as sheep, goats, cows, or pigs for food and other needs. The time after the Paleolithic Age is called the Neolithic Age. Neo means new, and lithic means stone. So the Neolithic Age means the new Stone Age. In the Neolithic Age, polished stone tools appeared. A polished stone tool was made by rubbing and smoothing stone. It was not only chipped by hitting. Polished stone tools could be stronger and better for some kinds of work. Stone axes and stone mills are examples of polished stone tools. A stone axe could cut wood. Cutting wood was important for making houses, boats, fences, and farmland. A stone mill could crush grain into flour. Grain is a small seed from plants such as wheat. People could make food from grain. They could crush it, mix it with water, and cook it. Grain was important because it could be stored for a long time. Pottery was also made in the Neolithic Age. Pottery means bowls, pots, and other things made from clay. Clay is soft earth that can be shaped when wet. After a clay pot is heated in fire, it becomes hard. Pottery was very useful. People could store food in pots. They could keep grains safe and dry. They could cook food in pots. They could carry water. They could also use pottery in ceremonies. A ceremony is a special activity for religion, family, death, birth, or other important events. Pottery was not only useful for daily life, it could also have special meaning. Farming changed where people lived. Hunters and gatherers often moved from place to place. Farmers needed to stay near their fields. They began to build more lasting homes. Small villages grew. In villages, people could work together. Some people grew food. Some people made tools. Some people made pottery. Some people built houses. Life became more settled, though it could still be hard. About 10,000 years ago, farming and animal keeping began in West Asia. One important crop was wheat. Wheat is a grain that can be made into flour and bread. People also grew other grains and kept animals. West Asia was an important place for early farming. It had useful wild plants and animals. People slowly learned which seeds were good to plant. They learned when to plant them and when to take in the crop. A crop is a plant grown for food. People learned to save seeds from good plants. Then they planted these seeds again. Over many years, plants changed. They became better for farming. People also kept animals near their homes. At first, they may have watched wild animals. Later, they raised animals that were easier to control. Sheep and goats were important early animals in some places. Animal keeping gave people meat, milk, skin, wool, and bones. Animals could also help with work in later times. Farming and animal keeping gave people a more steady food supply, but they also meant more work. Jericho is one of the oldest early farming village sites. It is on the west side of the Jordan River. Jericho is important because it shows that people lived in one place and built a community long ago. Jarmo is another very old early farming village site. It is in northeast Iraq. Jarmo also shows early farming life. People there grew food, kept animals, made tools, and lived in a settled village. Jericho and Jarmo help us understand the beginning of farming communities. These places were not modern cities, but they were important early steps toward later towns and cities. In China, Neolithic people made painted pottery. Painted pottery is pottery with pictures or patterns on it. The pottery was painted with colors such as red, white, black, and brown. Many painted pottery designs were geometric patterns. Geometric means shapes such as lines, circles, triangles, and squares. These patterns show that people enjoyed design and decoration. Painted pottery can tell us about the people who made it. It can show their skill, their ideas, and their way of life. It can also help scientists know where people lived and how different groups were connected. From about 14,000 years ago until today, we are in an interglacial period. An interglacial period is a warmer time between ice ages. In geological time, this period is called the Holocene. The Holocene began after the last ice age. During the Holocene, the climate became warmer than during the cold ice age periods. People built more villages, began farming in many places, and later made cities and states. A state is a large organized society with rulers, laws, and land. States came much later than the first farming villages. Before states, people lived in small groups and villages.
After the Neolithic Age, people began to use metals. This was another important change. Metal tools could be stronger than stone tools. One early metal was copper. Later, people mixed copper with tin. This mixture is called bronze. Bronze is a metal made from copper and tin. Tools and weapons made from bronze are called bronzeware. The time when bronze became important is called the Bronze Age. Bronze tools could be used for many things. People made knives, axes, tools, cups, and weapons from bronze. Making bronze needed skill. People had to find copper and tin. They had to heat them strongly. Then, they had to mix them in the right way. This kind of work helped trade grow, because copper and tin were not found everywhere. Trade means buying, selling, or exchanging things. One group may have had stone. Another group may have had metal. Another group may have had food. People traded what they had for what they needed. As villages became larger, people needed new ways to organize life. They needed rules about land, water, food, work, and safety. Some people became leaders. Some people became soldiers, workers, makers, or religious leaders. For a very long time, people had no writing. The time before writing is called prehistory. Prehistory means the time before written records. We learn about prehistory from bones, tools, pottery, houses, graves, and art. Archaeologists study prehistory. Archaeologists are people who study old human life by looking at things left in the ground. They dig carefully. They find stones, bones, pots, and other old things. Then they study them. Archaeologists must work slowly and carefully. The place where an old thing is found is important. A tool found deep in the ground may be older than a tool found near the top. The ground can tell a story about time. The time after writing began is called history. History is the time when people left written records. Written records include letters, lists, laws, stories, and books. Writing helps us know names, dates, ideas, and events more clearly. However, prehistory is also very important. People in prehistory were the first tool makers, hunters, artists, farmers, and village builders. They made the first long steps toward the world we know today. The story of human evolution teaches us that human life changed slowly. Ape men came first. Then early humans appeared. After them came old humans. Finally, modern humans, Homo sapiens, spread across the world. About 7 million years ago, Sahelanthropus lived in Chad and Africa. About 4.4 million years ago, Ramidus ape man lived in Ethiopia. About 4.2 million years ago, Australopithecus lived in Africa. About 2.4 million years ago, Homo habilis appeared in East Africa. About 1.8 million years ago, Homo erectus appeared. Homo erectus spread from Africa into Eurasia. Java man in Indonesia and Peking man in China are important examples of Homo erectus. About 600,000 years ago, old humans appeared in West Asia and Europe. Neanderthals appeared in Europe about 200,000 years ago. They used flake tools and had burial customs. About 200,000 years ago, modern humans, Homo sapiens, appeared in Africa. They later spread to Europe and Eurasia. By about 10,000 years ago, they had reached North America and South America. During the Paleolithic Age, people used chipped stone tools. They made stone blades, arrowheads, and spear points. They used bone and horn tools. They hunted, gathered food, and fished. At Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain, people made beautiful cave paintings. They painted bulls, horses, and other animals. These paintings show the skill and rich minds of Paleolithic people. After the Ice Age ended, the Neolithic Age began. People started farming and animal keeping. They used polished stone tools such as stone axes and stone mills. They made pottery for storing food, cooking, and ceremonies. In West Asia, wheat farming and animal keeping began about 10,000 years ago. Jericho and Jarmo are famous early farming village sites. In China, people made painted pottery with red, white, black, and brown geometric patterns. Later, people used copper and tin to make bronze. This bronze was used for bronzeware. Metal tools and trade helped human societies become larger and more complex. Before writing, the time is called prehistory. After writing began, the time is called history. Both prehistory and history are important parts of the human story. Today, we live in the Holocene, an interglacial period that began about 14,000 years ago. We have cities, schools, books, phones, and many machines. But long ago, our ancestors lived with simple tools, fire, animals, rivers, forests, and caves. The first people had many hard problems. They needed food every day. They needed to stay warm. They needed to protect their children. They needed to work with others. They learned from nature, and they learned from each other. Their tools became better. Their homes became stronger. Their groups became larger. Their art became richer. Their ways of getting food changed from hunting and gathering to farming and animal keeping. The long story of humans is a story of change. It is also a story of learning. From a sharp stone to a hand axe. From a hand axe to a stone blade. From a stone blade to a polished stone axe. And from stone tools to bronze tools, people kept finding new ways to live. This story began in Africa millions of years ago. It moved to Eurasia, Europe, Asia, Alaska, and the Americas. It includes Sahelanthropus, Ramidus ape-man, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens. We are part of this very long human story.